All right, I am going to go ahead and start us. I'm sure people may continue to come in, and I want to be respectful of everyone's time and get you to the next session on time. I think I know all of you, at least a little bit, and welcome to the New to First2 session. Hi, Madura. I'm Erica Harvey. I am one of the PIs for the First2 network. And Madge Vostine is a Green Bank employee, so she's also part of the First2 infrastructure, and she's helping today to admit people. And it does look like several more people are entering the waiting room. So you got them, Madge? Okay, wonderful. So I'll give them another second to come in, and I'm gonna launch a poll just to find out why you're joining today and a little bit about you guys. And so I think it should have flashed up for you. Did it?
Mm-hmm.
Great. So for you guys who just joined, welcome to the New to First2 session, and you should be seeing a poll that will allow you to give some input about who you are and why you're here today, and what you're looking for. Looks like I've got 4 responses. So I'll wait, give you a chance. Michelle and Janet, I know you joined right as I was launching this poll. Oh, good. Okay, everybody has done it. So I'm going to go ahead and end it, and I think that'll let us see the results. Let me share my screen. Hi, Candy. And we can see that we have 1 higher education faculty member and several staff or administrators in higher ed. Most of you guys are just wanting to listen and learn. That's wonderful. And if you do think of questions as we go along, please, by all means, interrupt me. And Madge, you watch the chat in case someone is very polite and interrupts me in the chat instead of interrupting me verbally, and then you can interrupt me verbally, because I am not sure I'm going to be able to manage all those things at once. And it looks like nobody's completely brand new to First2. Most people have some familiarity, or even are pretty familiar but interested in the bigger picture. Good. Okay, so I'll plunge ahead and give a little PowerPoint introduction in the New to First2, and hopefully it'll touch on different areas of the network, and we'll be able to answer any questions as they come up. Okay. So I'm going to show this in not fully showing PowerPoint mode for a minute, but I wanted to just give you this incredible acronym: Inclusion Across the Nation of Communities of Learners of Underrepresented Discoverers in Engineering and Science. And that's why we just say includes. And NSF has this huge program to try to make science and the people who do science look like the population at large. And I think that's really inspiring. And in 2018, we did get a $7.15 million award, a 5-year award, as an NSF Includes Alliance. And we were one of the first 5 that were funded in the nation. And to date, there have been 13 funded. There were, I think 5 more were added this year. And it was our Includes group of PI institutions was led by Green Bank Observatory and Sue Ann Heatherly, Julie Seraphin with West Virginia Science and Research, I think is now called Science, Technology and Research, maybe. It's called the acronym STAR. So it's a division of the West Virginia Higher Education Policy Commission. Fairmont State, and I am from Fairmont State, and Gay Stewart from the WVU Center for STEM our Excellence in STEM Education, and Sarah Riley from High Rocks. So High Rocks is a nonprofit in Pocahontas County, and we have 2 higher ed institutions. Then our sort of backbone organization to sustain this project is the Higher Education Policy Commission, and in combination with Green Bank. And I'm going to show a video now, which I hope will work. This is a video that the network made a couple of years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, and it's all student voice because that's one of the main themes of First2 Network.
West Virginia needs to create new jobs.
To do so requires an eagerness to innovate
and a willingness to evolve.
To adapt the strengths we inherit
and combine them with a resolve to move forward.
It requires collaboration from different sectors,
offering a chance to emerge from separate corners
and progress together.
The National Science Foundation,
through its Includes program,
has recognized the need
to diversify
our national STEM workforce.
West Virginia was chosen
as a testing ground for new methods and models
to improve access to education,
training,
and future job markets.
Through Includes,
an already diverse community
is working to support the number of young people
who are the first in their family
to pursue a post-secondary degree
in science,
technology,
engineering,
or math.
For those of us who were born here, like me,
who are proud to be here, like me,
or who hope to continue working and living here, like me,
we want to continue shaping the opportunities available in our state
through a network that already exists.
If you haven't heard of me,
you soon will.
I am the First2 Network.
All right, thank you all. I'm trying to get my chat back. One eye on the chat on one of my screens. Whoops. Oh my gosh. Okay. Here we go. Now I'm good. The aim of the First2 Network primarily is this first blue box, double the number of STEM graduates in West Virginia. And it was at 30% when we submitted the proposal to 60% within 10 years. And that's a huge aim. And so it's supported by structures that will help make that aim possible. One is to build a collaborative culture for a sustainable, long-lived improvement network. And that's where the Higher Education Policy Commission is so important. And then another is to complete a research study on factors affecting rural first-generation students in STEM. And so that's really the WVU crew is doing that research, but across the state through First2 Network. And finally, to create a model program for other EPSCoR states and expand that alliance, hopefully into 2 additional EPSCoR states within 5 years. Not that it would be exactly First2 Network, but that the idea of a way to wrap improvement science around improvement of systems to support first-generation rural persistence would be able to be moved out into other states. 30%, oh, great question. 30% of the students who come in STEM interested. Right now, we only have about 30% of those who make it through with a STEM degree in 4 years. And so we are actually a little above STEM interest in rural first generation in West Virginia coming into college, but for a variety of factors, we have a pretty low completion rate in 4 years. Thank you for that question. And so some of the themes of First2 are to connect good work that's already happening around the state and to shine a light on that and to share it and to sort of incentivize and support people as they test those ideas and things that are working in their own new contexts. We are also trying to create a new way to do business. One of our refrains, if some of you went to the national convening, is not to students, not for students, but with students. So students are absolutely leaders in this network. And I think I saw Ashley Krasnansky has joined us. Is that true?
That is correct.
Welcome. So Ashley agreed to help me with this session and to be the student voice. So you now know that you have another person that you could address questions to as we're going through if there's something you want to know about from a student perspective. Anything you want to say here, Ashley?
Well, honestly, I can just attest to, or not attest, I'm sorry. I agree that First2 Network has been very beneficial for the student body. I mean, by just just providing a platform to allow students to get into early research, to, meet and sustain healthy networking opportunities, relations. So it's a great opportunity for students, and it's also a great opportunity, I would say, for the staff, the faculty that works with the network. You get to see insight into, both ways. You get to see insight into what the students see versus what the faculty sees. It's just overall a great program.
And Ashley, can you tell a little bit about yourself? Just where are you going to school and what are you studying, and a little bit that you'd like to share?
Sure. So I am a junior. I am studying mathematics and physics. I transferred from biology. Let's see. A little bit about myself. I am a wife. I'm a mother of twins. I work as a physics teacher's assistant over at Marshall. And so I guess that really just sums it up, honestly.
It certainly is a rich start. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
And you've probably had a chance to read the rest of this slide, but another strategy for First2 Network isn't just trying things, but consciously trying to try things with an improvement science mindset. In other words, we want to know that what we did made a difference, and we want to decide if we're going to, after analyzing the data from that, whether we want to keep that idea or adapt it, or go ahead and move away from it, abandon it. And because this work is systemic, the problems that we're trying to solve are systemic and the supports are going to be systemic, it has to be across the state and across sectors that we make change happen in West Virginia and in other states who might be interested in this. And transparency is also just an overarching theme of the network. We have open meetings. We try to be as public as possible about what we're doing, why we're making decisions we're making. What do we do? So NSF funded us to learn how to effectively engage and retain our rural first generation STEM students. And we include other underrepresented students as well in the supports that we're providing. And honestly, we feel that this will improve all STEM education and success in West Virginia. So we are looking at best practices and promising practices for student engagement in First2 Network. So studying the way we're working with students in First2 Network to determine what works and to keep improving that process. We also, as Ashley indicated, fund students to do early research before they start their freshman year. And they are mentored by upper level students during that, and then engage in continuing research and with the network in a variety of roles throughout the first 2 years and past, as you can, a junior joining us here. There's strong partnerships with institutions of higher ed and industry to create opportunities for students to be in STEM research, both at the institutions, in internships with industry. We're working hard to create those, and also with STEM culture. So career services, staff, there's a lot of places that we're starting now to move into institutions and support institutions in what they're doing to support students to become engaged in the STEM culture. And finally, we have groups working of faculty and staff, including high school and college, working with each other to encourage improvement science in practice with students. And the students also are part of that to make sure that we are doing things that actually have a hope of impacting the factors that are keeping students from succeeding in STEM at the rate we'd like to right now. To that end, we have some working groups, one on, and so these are groups of people who all have the ability to make a change in a certain area. So college readiness, for example, is people who work in high school and in transition to college, or with people who do work in those areas. And how can we break down barriers there and make connections there? One of the things is an ambassador program where students go back to their high schools. That's a piece where college readiness and the student leadership group that's listed here work together to try to impact that transition and support students through it. Faculty student engagement, I think, is in the process of renaming itself to campus engagement to better highlight the fact that there is a lot of staff involvement in the connection of students to support resources and to even to their teachers, faculty in college. But it's about unpacking where the barriers are for students in the classroom and in the support services that are offered to them, and trying to make that as fruitful as possible. And again, faculty student engagement, I believe, just invited student leaders to join them for an extended work session to really think about places, key places they could put some effort and energy this year to make some differences. Immersive experiences is the working group of people who run those summer immersive experiences where students come in for a couple of weeks and do some intensive research on campuses, and also like at Green Bank Observatory and at High Rocks and our West Virginia School of Osteopathic Medicine. So there's some really neat sites where students begin to form a cohort and get access to how to ask for resources and how that's a smart choice, not a negative to ask for help, and also get their feet wet with research. Student leadership is really, at this point, entirely student-led. The students are running the student meetings, and there is some facilitation and support by some staff adults in in First2 Network as well. We have an industry advisory board, which consists of people from various industries. It has co-chairs from two chemical industry, Chemours and Solvay are the co-chairs of that group right now. And it also includes people from nonprofits and like NETL who are interested in partnering to support students at the other end as they're starting to think about their careers, which doesn't have to be near the end of their time in college. It can be early on, seeing the arc to that career. And the student alumni group, I think the word student there, it just means they were First2 students who are now have formed an alumni working group, and they're beginning to be in industry. And so they're doing some neat things like making scholarships and having career panels and things like that that are useful for current students. Some key findings from our latest evaluation report. We had 144 members on our website in year one, and we're up to 487 now. So it's a big increase in membership, and we hope that we'll get some more today. To join, you just go to the website and make an account on our website, and then you'll be able to see behind the scenes, join a working group, or just lurk in a working group if you'd like to. And students are about 43% of that membership, which is really, really encouraging. We had 159 summer interns so far. This is the breakdown. Excuse me, we had 31 in the first year, 2019. 74, excuse me, the year that we went all virtual because we could support more, and 54 this year. That's more what we had planned to have, I believe. And fall to spring STEM persistence rate for 2020 was about 78%, and that's all the data we had so far. We should have the data for fall to fall relatively soon this fall, but we don't have it yet. And the fall to fall persistence rate is about that for similar West Virginia freshmen. So we haven't necessarily made a compelling difference in their initial persistence rate, but we certainly are watching that. And finally, our members have conducted 64 plan, do, study, act cycles. And those are conscious improvement science, where you have an idea to test and you test it, you collect data, you make a plan about what data you're going to collect, you run it, you test it. So it's really the scientific method applied to your teaching, a change in your teaching practice or office hours, or how you contact students about the tutoring center on your campus. Let's see, I think there's some questions. Do members have to be from the same state? Oh, no, I don't think that members would need to be from the same state. We would be happy to have people from all over join our website and learn about this. You may get ideas for your own state. You may be able to join in with something, even if you're from another state. I know that we have had people from other states in the faculty student engagement working group doing tests of change. It happened to be somebody who moved out of West Virginia, but was really sold on the importance of the work and the difference it could make for students. And Ashley, yes, I think we should definitely mention the Slack channel. Do you want to mention the Slack channel?
Sure. So all the members of First2 are now switching over to use Slack. I think previously we used to use the First2 network as our main communication hub, but we've switched over to Slack channel. So if anyone's interested in joining, I mean, I can get the link and put it in the chat.
That's great. And we want you to join the website as well, because that's how we're getting numbers like this increase in membership. And when you go behind the scenes and become a member of First2 Network, it doesn't cost anything. It doesn't require anything of you except to say that you are willing to fill out a profile on our website so that we know a little bit more about you and your interest in the network. Thank you, Ashley. These are the partners of First2 Network. I believe I am missing one for Matrix, which is another industry partner. And I wanted to give a shout out, in case there's anyone here, to our latest partner, Blue Ridge Community and Technical College. I believe we just formalized an MOU with you this fall, which is fantastic. Do I have anybody here from Blue Ridge? Call yourself out in the chat.
Yes, Sean Morrison.
Oh, wonderful. Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah. And I did a poll before everybody joined this meeting to ask what you were here for. If you had specific questions that you wanted to find the answers to, or you just wanted to listen and learn and then bring up questions as they came. So if you do have specific questions, please feel free to put them in the chat or interrupt me at any time. You can see this is a good mix of people from industry, a bunch of higher ed. Ideally, we want to have all the higher education institutions in the state involved in the network, because we all have a piece of this puzzle. And some other nonprofits like Education Alliance, HISTA, the NASA West Virginia Space Grant Consortium, they're doing internships for our students. West Virginia INBRE, the IDEA Network Biomedical Research Excellence, also doing some internships. And SRI Education is our backbone partner. So the Higher Education Policy Commission didn't really have familiarity with the idea of being a support institution for a large systemic change project like this. And so as part of the grant, SRI, which is based in California, but is national institution, is the mentor backbone for the Higher Education Policy Commission and has really started to transition some of those roles to Higher Education Policy Commission as we move into year 4 here of the grant. The leadership structures, and here's my note, they're evolving as the network grows. So we keep realizing the layers of ways that we could fruitfully connect people and what the roles could be. But this is what it looks like right now. There's a steering committee that has about 18 voting members right now. And they are from different institutions and also different working groups, and also from the PIs. And that group meets monthly and guides the direction of the network. For instance, approves the bylaws, approves any new working group co-chairs or co-chair changes, and works on detailed questions for the network, like does our structure, our theory of how we want to change the system, is it still relevant the way we thought it would be when we started this 3 years ago? Or do we need to adjust that in some ways? That's one of the things we'll be taking up this winter. Student directors meet, I believe, every week. And these students is a smaller subset of students, one from each institution and then some at large. And Ashley, you can correct me if I'm wrong about this, who guide the student leadership working group. They run the meetings and plan the involvement, working with Hyrox, who handles all the student support pieces. They plan the structure of student involvement. The leadership team consists of voting members, the 5 PIs, and then Joanna Burke-Kinderman, who runs has organized the student director piece, and Debbie Shaver from SRI, so one of the mentor backbone members. And all the staff members from each institution also come to those meetings. Like I said, all the meetings are open, and they choose the steering committee membership and meet weekly as opposed to monthly like the steering committee does. The backbone organization is the Higher Education Policy Commission, Division of Science and Research. But we have realized that we are interested in that by default, we had sort of distributed the role of the backbone as we got started with the network. And so Green Bank does some of the backbone pieces, does the reporting, for instance, to NSF. Fairmont does some of the backbone pieces because we have organized some of the capacity building and hold contracts for a bunch of the faculty and have pieces of the conference funding. So there's a team of people who meet as the backbone, and we're still feeling our way to what that is exactly gonna look like as a sustainable organization. There's an advisory committee that meets quarterly and has some high-powered people with a lot of leverage in the state. And we had that for the first time last year, and that really made a difference to have people who can provide input and sort of guide and connect the organization from a high level. And finally, the stars on institutional teams means that's hopefully what you guys are here, many of you, to think about. If we're going to sustain this work, we need to have people at each of our higher ed institutions who are thinking about the work and thinking about who's involved at their institution and what it might look like at their institution that would be different, and what promising practices you might want to steal or try from another institution. So we're really working hard on that. We started this past spring and summer to try to help people identify institutional teams. And then I just have some profiles of several of our students in addition to Ashley. This is Ethan Endres, who's, I believe, a junior also, might even be a senior now. And for him, it was getting into research labs. He's computer science or cyber forensics and security, you can see there, and really meeting professors and getting opportunities that changed the way he thought about his education. Aubrey Cumberledge, a student in biology from West Virginia University, and she's, sorry, I'm omitting someone. She's looking at a strong support network, the way that helped in the pandemic. Again, finding a research group. It's hard for us to understand how hard it can be for students to find a research opportunity when they don't even know that research is a possibility. So that is a game changer, I think, a very powerful change idea that, that we're using in First2 Network. And then I really like that she highlights these other power skills that she's getting, budgeting, expense reports. These are things that are happening through her involvement with the First2 Club and the First2 Network as a leader. And Josiah Baker, mechanical engineering at WVU Tech, So getting some software information and skills, leadership, of course, communication. I wanted to highlight that he has helped with creating podcasts with our evaluation team. So instead of evaluation reports that no one reads, he and one of the evaluation leads have created podcasts that are pretty fun to listen to and help people digest the evaluation of the network, which is so important in guiding continued improvement. Ashley glancingly said a few things about the opportunities for engagement, but here's a list of ways that students are involved. So they come for summer immersive experiences before their freshman year, or they don't have to get involved that way. Then there are campus clubs at all the institutions with whom we have MOUs, I believe at this point, probably getting ready to start one at Blue Ridge. And students can get involved there, even if they didn't do the summer immersion. They can, through that, become hometown ambassadors, where they go back and talk to their high school classmates and also or kids who are younger than them, as well as their teachers and principals. And then legislative and policy. This picture is from the Capitol. It's from undergraduate research day at the Capitol, where we try to bring students to present their research if they get accepted, but also have teams of students who meet with legislators to talk about First2 Network. And legislators have been extremely receptive to meeting with students because these are their constituents. And students who have amazing brain power and initiative and could really change West Virginia if we can figure out how to support them in succeeding in STEM. And then institutional ambassadors. So part of the MOUs also are to have student groups meet with administrators on campus so that there's at least quarterly, so that there's a two-way communication channel for what students are experiencing and what administrators are experiencing in terms of supporting these students. Peer mentoring, a lot of the students have come up with the idea to support other students through peer mentoring and set up peer mentoring programs in various ways. Research mentoring, so students both participate in undergraduate research during the academic year and also mentor other students during that year, younger students. There's a lot of leadership training and development in First2 Network done through HYROX, and just the programs. In order for students to meet with legislators, they will meet and prep for that meeting with legislators. Think about what they want to say, think about how to say it. The same with going back to the high schools. Those aren't done cold. There's presentations that are practiced, and it wonderfully is improvement science designed around that. So let's try it this way and see what happens and take data on that. And then let's tweak it next year based on what happened and what worked and what didn't. Like I said, the student director group, there's working groups. They can be involved in any of the working groups. And we've tried different things, having students come to working group meetings, like faculty student engagement, and also having working group chairs or representatives come to the student meetings. And both of those have value and have pros and cons. Thank you, Madge. I think we are nearing the end here. These are some cool screenshots from largely the virtual internship. This is from a conference when we were able to be in person. We are so looking forward to that again. And some of the sites were able to have in-person immersion programs this summer, and that was it was lovely to be back together in person. And so I just wanted to stop and see if there are any questions. Oh, you found the podcast. Nice. Are there questions at this point? The last thing I wanted to do was take you on a tour of our website. But I'd like to give you a chance to ask questions at this point.
I think I missed when you explained what HYROX is, but you've mentioned it a few times since.
Yes, thank you. HYROX is a nonprofit educational institution in Pocahontas County, so very rural, They bring students in, and if somebody knows this better than me, please correct me, but they, before getting involved with First2 Network, they're heavily involved in community development, feeding people during the pandemic. They did a lot with that. They have community gardens. They really try to empower young people to become leaders and to continue their education. So it was a natural addition to add in STEM for them. And what they know about, yes, empowering young leaders is invaluable to the network, but it's a nonprofit. Oh, I love you guys for doing the chat beautifully. So Caroline, are you from a different state?
Yes, I am. I'm from Tennessee, actually.
Oh, welcome, welcome. And I know Madura is from Kentucky. So do we have anybody else from other states? I'm so excited. Thank you guys for joining us. All right. So I will take us around the website, and really that's the, oh, I think I already had that open. I didn't need to do it. Hopefully you can also Google and follow along on the website. It's pretty simple, First2 with a 2 network.org. And I think somebody's put that in the chat already. There are lots of information. And this is where you can join to get a little more information. And we do ask you to do this as well as join the Slack channel if you're interested in really joining some of the ongoing work. But if you just want to sort of surf around in the website and learn about the network, start at the website instead. If you're here to support a campus club or something, you may indeed want to join the Slack channel. There is a significant About Us section. Sorry, I forgot that this is Zoom and everything's a little bit slower. So you can fish around in that. There's the story about how First2 Network got started. We actually started as a design and development launch pilot for Includes for 2 years, 2016 and 2017, running the summer immersion programs and an academic year course we tried, and starting to put some partners together. And then when we became the Alliance, it really went statewide and across all those sectors. News and events, you can see our past newsletters in an archive of MailChimp. And there's a form if you have anything cool to tell us about a promising practice. And even new people can often have really great things to share. Oh, Debbie's here. Debbie Shaver is about to come in, and she is from SRI. There are opportunities for members, and you can apply for a stipend to do the improvement science work or to travel on behalf of the network. This is totally not achieving click and change, but hopefully that's working for you. And there's many student opportunities, and then we're working on what it should look like for institutions who join First2 as a member institution. What kind of packages might be possible? Oh, great, Debbie. We will totally stop by 2:15. Yeah, I think we are in the home stretch here. I can probably stop now. For students, this has a lot of forms and descriptions of how they apply for the various opportunities. We've iterated several times on that, but the basic idea is right now, students during the academic year can apply for $1,500 a semester to be a student scholar, a First2 scholar. And they have to do 100 hours in various categories, part of work for themselves, work for the network. And Ashley, help me, what's the third piece?
Let's see, it's work for yourself, work for the network, and work for your peers.
Ah, nice. For others, yes. And so they consciously are thinking about personal development as well as helping others. And I think that's a really some wonderful things that have come out of Hyrox's long experience, and then out of students themselves iterating toward that and looking at their own experiences and wanting that to be different. Under resources, you can see that we have a list of several resources. One is this West Virginia STEM Hub dashboard, and I'm just going to call that out because it's a project I'm involved in. We've started trying to collect all the STEM resources in our state using a Qualtrics form where we ask people to submit them, and then a Tableau dashboard. Please don't judge us for the dashboard yet. It's not gorgeous, but, and I'm not going to try to open it right this minute while I'm sharing Zoom, but it is an aspiration, and we hope that by the end of this semester, we have it looking prettier and more usable, and also really holding a lot of information. And we have a ton of resources around the Improvement Science Plan, Do, Study, Act as PDSA. We have publicly posting our evaluation and research findings and our strategic plan. And that is all I think I need to tell you guys. I really appreciate your time here. Ashley, anything else you want to?
Erica, we do have one more question. Are these student opportunities open for students outside West Virginia? This is from Caroline.
That is a great question. I don't think students outside of West Virginia right now would have priority, but that is something we are very interested in helping get things started in other states. So we should have a conversation about that, about what might be possible. Will you give me, could anybody who's new to the network put your email address either in a private message to me, or if you're willing to do it publicly, or in the chat, or to Madge? You can send it to Madge too.
Yeah,
I just wanted to add one more thing, Erica, and it's just to really reiterate the difference between the website and the Slack channel. And I put it in the chat, but the website is a really good place to get information general about the network as a whole. You know, so you can get your information regarding conferences or any other opportunity for the members. Whereas the Slack workspace is really good to like see the students, I guess, work up close. So you can actually talk to the students, and I mean, we're pretty open and welcoming. So
you make it sound like a zoo. I like that. Interactive zoo.
Yeah, if you want to get on there and introduce yourselves, we're all pretty nice.
That's a great idea. Yeah, and so some of the faculty work and staff work is still happening inside the website communication channels, in addition to Slack. So I really encourage people to get on the website as well. But that's a great way to think about it. Yeah, if you want to get down and really talk to students. Madura, I saw you did your video. So do you have another thought?
No, I just figured since we're not presenting anymore, I would.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we try to have video on when we can. All right, well, I'm mindful of letting the next session get started on time. I can't tell you how much I appreciate all of you guys for coming to this, and hopefully I've got some contact information for folks. And also, if you join the website, we'll get your contact information that way. So thank you.